All right, so thank you so much for setting the tone for today. Today is an open discussion. You, of course, can stop, interrupt me. I don't have a lot of slides. I actually have 12. And this is about building an online community for us to hang out while we were stuck at home for COVID. But then when we shut it down a year later, people told us to bring it back. So here we are. And please go ahead and hop on chat and talk about where you are right now. Oh, Robin loves the Taddage Grill. Oh, Robin says Taddage Grill is on California Street. Thank you. I didn't remember any of the streets. Yep. Chicago is sunny too. Thanks, Sabine. And so I'm going to keep an eye on chat. I'm going to keep an eye on you guys. Just pop right in and say hi. But the topic that we're going to talk about today is I'm going to share some ideas about using contact reports for more than just reading them one at a time and making comments and doing global decisions based on one contact report. Oh, Robin Anza, if you guys know her, she's just south of San Francisco on the Northern Peninsula. Oh, Toronto, Canada. Yay! Hello, Gretchen. Okay. And so, yeah, you'll see me interrupt a lot, but please do. We have an Ohio and a Santa Barbara. It's cold in Santa Barbara. Really? Isn't that where all the movie stars live? Okay. So what we're going to talk about, though, is how to make use of contact reports. Oh, somebody's got below. Who's got the highest temperature? I've got below 70. Who's got the highest temperature? Where I am right now, I think we're at 40. Go ahead and type that in, but I'm going to start talking about natural language processing. So one of the things that we've invented since artificial intelligence started getting invented was being able to take complete sentences and breaking them not only into single words, but also phrases that give clues to where you should go next, right? And I was doing this morning, screaming representative into my phone to this chatbot that kept saying, I did not understand what you said. You can say, sell me some more stuff, or sell me some more stuff, right? That's AI, right, at work. But it's also used by survey companies. When you type out a free text response from survey companies, so far we've got 55. Our San Francisco's need to pop in. You guys need to give us a higher temperature than 55. Oh, low 70s, Christine. Christine is winning right now with low 70s. When you ask people to fill out, why did you feel that way? They don't, we just read through them and we make an assumption. We're looking, it's called confirmation bias, right? See, 5 different people said that they don't like what you did, right? And they said so. I read several comments, right? But if you use AI to split that language into pieces and then have the machine connected to other things, and for us it's to giving or engagement, then you can actually use it to inform some of your decision making, which is the important thing. Amazon, let's see. Oh yeah, 8 degrees is 46. Okay. Oh, it's only, oh, Maggie, it's only 50. I'm sorry. So wait, I'm sorry. I'm going to keep interrupting this. We have plenty of time to do this presentation. Christine, where are you? That's low 70s. Let's go to your house or office. Statesboro near Savannah. Oh, Georgia. Fried chicken. And tomatoes and okra. I am not allowed to cook tomatoes and okra. It's just not a thing we do in New York. So yeah, we'll go visit Christine. Okay. The other one is social media companies will use it to figure out what keywords say, please review this in person, but also what keywords say, Marianne, you were banned from Facebook for 10 days until you behave yourself. And then, of course, let's go find the terrorists, right? I like okra too. I like okra, Christine. I'll eat yours. So how we can use text, and I did it with contact reports, but how we can use text is we can take our contact reports and we can split them into single words, and we can and phrases that attaches to a major gift. So if you had 5,000 visits last year and 1,000 major gifts, of those 1,000 major gifts, what was common among the words in the contact reports? Now you can do this by hand and say the most common word in there was a and the, or we can talk about, I can keep showing you how things go. So let's take a look. And also it's used in part of relationship mapping. And my one of my favorite examples is art, right? So you have an art museum as part of your organization, and the word art shows up in a contact report, right? Oh, Corinne Hines wins the contest for who has the lowest temperature. It's -4, and -4 Celsius is also -4 Fahrenheit, if I remember right. Okay, so relationship mapping, I can map this person to art one way or another and think of it as an interest code. Remember we were trying to do interest codes, and then we were like, how do we know what somebody's interest really is without asking them, right? And then people talk in natural language, so we have to natural language process. All right, take a couple of minutes to look at these contact reports while I grab a sip of water and keep reading through the chats and interrupting myself to make comments about them. And tell me what you see in common here. And feel free to keep chatting, because, you know, as researchers, we're introverts. We don't want to speak in front of a group all the time. But I know you guys are still reading. You guys are reading all of them, aren't you? You're not just skipping through them. Nice job. Either that or you're eating your lunch. Okay, terrible content doesn't tell us anything, right? He had the steak, I had the mahi-mahi, delicious dessert. That's an indication of terrible content. Now, if I parse those words out and I said, what is in common with food mentions, right? Yep. If I have a lot of food mentions, yep, I agree that training is required for one of these gift officers, right? So if I had a lot of food and not a lot of helpful stuff, right, I could use natural language processing to say that gift officer should probably get a review on what contact reports are for, right? Okay, if you mentioned crypto, I just what's that? I just gave Robin a flashback to her own irritation. Right, Corinne. Dollar signs, donation, cause, interest, valuable keywords. Now, the organization that we're talking about is called Cause Organization, because I was lazy when I was trying to make up these contact reports. Yep, dollar sign. Dollar sign. Just say, go find all the, if I were a researcher, I'd say find all the dollar signs in here, right? Now notice that there's some crypto. There's some crypto in here, and then Mr. Smith, the third one up from the bottom, Mr. Smith called me to tell me he made a killing off Bitcoin just before CFX crashed. So that's still crypto. And if I'm gonna try to figure this out, I'm gonna need to find a way to tell the machine, Bitcoin, Litecoin, CFX, there's a certain things that just say crypto. Okay? All right, anybody still reading? I can move on. I'm looking at my chat. Okay. Okay, so what's in a contact report? And so you've already mentioned some, right? The least amount of data possible so that the gift officer can get reimbursed for travel. How many of you experienced that, right? And do you have a policy that says you don't get reimbursed until you put in a contact report? I actually knew a director of individual giving who, when he was director of operations, would make the prospect researchers write contact reports for people that they met at APRA, right? And I thought that was a great way to make people talk to other people. But if I were that, I would feel resentful, and then I would say, I met Sally. This is what she does. Blah blah blah. We had a great chat about dessert. Okay, okay. Random thoughts on how dinner tasted. I'm telling you, just like, who is it that said? Who's saying this is dealing with my gift officers? Robin, right? And I'm sure, and Robin got 2 likes, and I'm giving her a like too, Robin, because I actually read a contact report that said he had the something and I had the chocolate brownie, and then it said a nice evening. And during the course of the evening, he mentioned his cousin, who is the king of Saudi Arabia, or was it the king's cousin of Saudi Arabia? Cousin of the king of Saudi Arabia. And I kept reading to find the name of that cousin, and I didn't get it. It wasn't there. But boy, howdy, I found out she had a brownie, right? Okay, strategy and prospect research notes, reaction notes are also in there. Now, are those important? I think they are. Strategy notes are important, okay? Updated research information is important as long as the contact report gets passed through. Sorry, Robin, I'm reading. Robin writes, she goes, well beyond that. Every contact is like War and Peace. Does everybody get called Ilyevich? She runs out of character space. Okay, so she's trying to be complete and thorough. She's not getting the part about getting to the point, okay? So that is a gift officer who needs to go to a writing course on how to get to the point. Okay. When I was at Cornell, we actually had a system where if there was updated prospect information, it went to a special mailbox, and I supervised the 2 people where their whole job was to process the stuff in that mailbox. And boy, howdy, that made all the difference to maintaining demographic data. You don't want the gift officer to be the only one to know that the guy sold his company and now has a new work address, okay? Sentiment and affinity information, which is all this stuff all this stuff that we've been talking about in the data mining field about engagement analytics. Like, what is engagement? We're all like, oh, is anybody doing engagement? Yeah, we're doing engagement. What are you doing, right? And so the sentiment affinity piece, right? So sentiment is how do they feel about you. Affinity is what is their relationship with you. Remember the 3, right? Features that make a major gifts prospect. Capacity, right? Inclination, they're philanthropic. They already know how to make a major gift. And affinity, they have an affinity to you. Okay. Well, I've got you guys going ahead and venting your frustrations, and that's wonderful. That's part of what the water cooler chats are for. It's like, can you believe that? Right. Then the last one that we care a lot about are wealth clues. Okay. Now, what else do you see in contact reports? Good or annoying? And remember that this is getting recorded, so if it's annoying, put it in chat. So Kimberly's like, she also sees the donor's favorite place to meet. You know, the donor's favorite place to meet is actually a good idea, because if the new gift officer gets that prospect, he can already suggest that. Because the minute somebody says something to Stop Hell, to one member of the Stop Hell team, they assume that they've said everything to all of the members of Stop Hell team. My wife is a pain in the butt. Please tell me if she turns into one for you. So somebody, is that the gift officer's wife or the prospect's wife? Kelly. Hints on relationships are important, and actually how do you build that into a relationship map, right? Family-owned business, good. Is in this thing, excellent. Yeah. Don't know how well they listen, what they're indicating to donors that I support. Yeah. The donor's wife. Oh, so Kelly has a problem because everything that you put in a database is can be subpoenaed. So, oh, so God love you, Kelly. I would take that out. I would change it to the donor mention in his relationship with his wife and move on. Okay, also medical stuff. You don't put medical stuff in there either. And what was my favorite one? This parent is wanted by Interpol because she kidnapped her daughter and brought her home from, whatever place where the father took the kid. So we can't invite her to the parent reception. That was news that had to go around verbally. Okay, so Kelly's got some educating to do. All right, so I'm not going to show you how. We're just going to talk about what can be done. But this is the thing. So this is I took a single contact report, and this is the first one you were reading. Okay, and so, oh yeah, all contacts. Okay. Michelle, I'm sure the AFP has some kind of guidance on contact reports, but maybe that's something that we should write as researchers. The best, most fabulous, exotic research contact report, and just put that out as a white paper, and you could just throw it. That's an idea. Somebody come back to me about that, because I'm going to forget. Brandy, I'm going to forget. Okay. So I took the first contact report you're reading. The prospect's name was Jeb Smith, and it said what line number. So what line was it in the collection, right? His ID was 1. We had a few from Jeb Smith, and the gift that he gave. Okay, and then here's the word: Matt Smith, fabulous restaurant. Notice that Mahi Mahi showed up. Mahi showed up twice because he had Mahi Mahi. Okay, but the other thing you notice is that when I did this, I used a product called R. I used a package called R, and we teach in R. And I told R, take out all the stop words, the and the, the and a, and a couple of like a bunch of stuff, and took out all of the punctuation. And then I also had it lowercase everything. So crypto, capital, crypto, lower, right? There are some that will also take out the past, remove past tense and make it all present tense so that you can see give and given as the same word. All right. So there's the word 40. Now notice that, so I touched the word met with highest gift of 390,000. And I did this with, like, by the time I ended up with all of the words and all of the contact reports you just read through, I had, thousands of lines. Okay. Now what I can do with that is I can make a word cloud. This is Tableau. All right. And what you do with a word cloud is the size of the bubble is how many of these times this word called showed up. So you'll see that Mahi Mahi doesn't show up here because it only showed up twice. But here's met and here's gift. Now how dark the red is the higher level donors. So I said make the color darker for according to the level of gift, and the darkest one is according to the level of highest gift. So the word gift in the contact report, big duh, is the most read one. Okay, but met is up there too, and then of course that $100,000 ask, and office is important. Million is important, but office is just as important and is showed up more often. All right, so called, met, agreed, local, right? Those are thanked. Okay, these are all things that are interactions, right? So if gift officer said to me, I don't have to meet a prospect in order to get the gift, it doesn't make any difference, blah, 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 blah. We could say, look at these keywords that are closer to the highest level gifts: office, replied, called, home, right? Local, okay? All of that brought in gifts. And if I had actual contact reports and I had enough of them, if I had 100,000 or 1,000 contact reports to work with, this would be interesting information. Okay, so Piper and Michelle are gonna tell me, remind me later to figure out who wants to write a white paper. Okay, I like I'm going to read this comment from Piper. Exact language around gift intention is super helpful. In your example, I'd wonder whether a $100,000 crypto gift is restricted. Right. So crypto is the asset and it's a gift in kind. So its intention doesn't have to be restricted. Exactly the phrase they use to put a finer point on the org's value in a donor's philanthropic portfolio. So you mean you really want to understand the donor sentiment and probably in the donor's language, right? Or the prospect's language. And help researchers confirm giving elsewhere. Oh, yes. Yes. That's fantastic. Okay. I agree. We can also do the things that we can do things that don't help. And I can say brownie. Thanks, Michelle. You know I'm going to forget all about this when I go do my my own analytics work right after this session. Okay. So the other thing is, though, you're like, Marianne. Thanks, Michelle. You're like, so you're saying, Marianne, you know, a single word. This is all just single words. This doesn't do much for us because crypto gift, like that's you know, it's the actual phrases that we care about, right? And so what I did, and this is a tool called Weka, and it's a function where I say, take the string and turn it into words. And they use, under that, I used a function called n-grams. I don't know what n-grams stand for except number of grams. I don't know what a gram is, right? So it stands for something, right? But what I'm saying is, give me as many as 3 words at a time. So take he came to see me and do he, and then he came, and then he came to, and then came to see, and then to see me, right? And make those into 3-word phrases because we have the computing power now to knock the computer out and say, find one of those that's significant to a gift. Okay. And so what I did here is I said, okay, give me resulting gift is that gift amount that you saw in the prior slide, right? So I think I renamed this. Yeah, this is called highest gift giving, but I renamed it resulting gift in the file that I sent. So this is the gift that was given as a result of all the contact reports to that prospect. And then $1, 1 billion, 1 million, 1 million asked, 1 million gift, 1 million over, 1 million she, right? And it sorts it all out and it says, okay, now I can take some of these and I can say, you know, this $100,000 is just an ask. So I'm going to throw it out and remove those, or I could have gone ahead and done the work. Okay. And notice that I also made sure, actually, I told it to lowercase stuff. So why that she is capitalized, I don't know. I have to go back and ask Weka what his problem is. Okay. And then what I did was I said, okay, do what we call linear regression, model these words and phrases against the highest gift that was given. Okay. And it's an example we have, 5706 was from one visit, right? Decline. Notice that declined is down here, but declined and declined are both lower gifts. Kimberly, go ahead and watch the recording later, and thanks. Good to see you. Okay, but the higher gifts is here's a declined I think, but declined, but here's but declined by itself is a lower gift amount. I have another presentation I'm going to pull up and I'll show you guys what I did with this with in a different way. Now, the other thing is that this product here is IBM's text for surveys product, and I use it as part of the IBM Modeler product when I can buy the IBM Modeler product. And what it does is it puts positives and negatives and neutral. It's called neutral. It was part of the context. It says contextual, right? And it says, you know, what was said. And so these are actually reactions to tweets. These are actually comments that were up against a tweet for an announcement years ago for a big red hockey event for a local organization, right? And so this local organization impacts the world. Ithaca is fabulous, but here's employment, you know, and what are the things that matter? Now, I've done these word clouds, positive, negative, contextual, with job titles. A job title is a combination of words. So what are the job titles? If I'm like tired of, you know, doing VP, vice president, CEO, blah, 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 I don't want to deal with all that and clean it all up just so I can run in an actual job title. I'm going to take job title, I'm going to split it into words. And then I'm going to attach the prospect's highest gift to that and see how it works. See which job titles lead me to the most money. It wasn't president. It was, I think it was director. When I did that, also, I used this for a client recently where when you change staff, you change how you do things. So they changed how they coded and they changed how they titled their events. So I had, lazy days dinner, and then I had dinner for lazy days, right? And so I just did this. I just did what I just showed you. I split it into words, I split it in phrases, and then I associated it with people who gave a gift afterwards. All right, so the size of the gift, how fast they gave a gift afterwards didn't matter, whether I was looking for engagement or money. Is this cool? Okay, everybody's quiet. You guys are eating your lunch. You can tell I got all carried away with my discussion. All right, so this is open discussion time, but while we're having open discussion time, I want to bring up that one presentation that I did where I showed a client, instead of using regression, I showed a local organization how they could use reactions to their sentiment, reactions to their social media, to identify which content got the warmest reactions, because it's the same thing, finding the love. Oh, thanks, Jessica. All right, so I'm going to look, but everybody pop in and ask questions or talk about how this relates to your work or what relates to your work. Okay. All right. Oh, Gretchen, you're introducing a trial run for contact reports using a Microsoft form, specific fields for donor managers to complete. Yeah, this is the Helen Brown group had a verbal form, and you had to answer 2 or 3 questions before you could go ahead. Okay. Name of meeting attendees, discussion, quick bites, prospect asked to added, gift realized, and next steps, follow-up to action. Takes approximately 3 to 5 minutes. Will be added to our Razor's Edge by the research team and the donor manager, who can circle back and add additional information to a more fulsome report at a later date. Best outcome, it gets an action for contact reports. We'll standardize information in the reports. This is great. This is a good idea. And we've tried to do this for years with our gift officers. The deal with that is you have to get cooperation, right? So, and that goes directly to Sarah's question next. How do we how do we make it easier for our gift officers to do their contact reports? Because when I talk about contact reports with gift officers, the first thing they say, I'm just looking for this file, the first thing they say is, I have to do it like in the car the minute I leave, and I can't look at, I can't sit there in my car and look like I'm writing up a note. I kind of have to, nuts. I kind of have to, get out of the way and look like all I cared about was, all I cared about was how happy I was to have the meeting. I'm sorry. One shop had gift officers, those tablets are those, yeah, I think they're tablets where you can flip the screen all around and so you're writing like a notepad. That's one of the ways that it was done. Another is if you can use, in my mind, the old way that the doctors used to do it, where they'd speak into a dictaphone and then somebody would pick it up. Yeah, it's not Dragonfly, it's Dragon Naturally Speaking, Sabine. Yep. And then Piper brings up the next question: who are the people back at the office who have to do that work? Yep. Okay. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at this piece. So what I did was I took a social media post and what the reactions were, but let me show you This is what you already saw. And then what I did in R, which is the first program I was showing you, is I was saying how many total likes and how many comments had this word. And R has what they call a lexicon that will attach sentiment to the words, negative, positive, okay? And then SPSS does too. So here's Saturday Habitat, volunteers, and it splits it out and it says, I don't know what the sentiments are, right? Or positive or negative. Am I going too fast? And then I said, okay, what relates the most to the number of likes and the number of responses? And it said, okay, the word habitat, the word join, HTTPS had a link. So if I had a link, it was interesting. Join, road, okay, volunteers. All right. Okay, let me go down to where I put this, because this is what makes sense to you. Okay. So when I was done doing the modeling with all the magic-y stuff that we talk about when we talk about data mining, right? What I came up with is if the post had goodness or commitment, not participation, right? Then it got more likes. And look at that, average number of likes is 29.5 versus 3. So it's 10 times the number of likes. So this is, when you think about this for contact reports, you can think of this as the post had next, the word next, which comes back to Gretchen's point, right? What is next, right? The post has next in it, then there's actually more likely that the prospect will make the major gift. And you can say major gift is yes or no. You know, major gift was made within, and then whatever within is for you, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, right? I would go out to 18 months, especially if it's a first contact. Just like we do, how many contacts does it take? Okay, so I like this Microsoft form. I hope you do a paper or a presentation for APRA on that. Other questions and comments? Who wants to see what? How do you want to go apply this stuff back to your shop? Who's having a brownie for lunch? Don't tell me, I'll be jealous. So one of the things that I've seen, coming back to, so Christine is asking, so when doing this kind of analysis, if we don't have Tableau or any other type of product, is there any free product to help? So the tools, 2 tools that I showed you out of the 3, R and Weka, they're free products, except that you've got to learn how to use them. Oh, but actually, I just gave you a hard time, but let me come back. Let me show you something. You can use Excel. I haven't seen this in a long time. Let me see if I can find it for you. Nope. Excel, there is a, oh, this is Tableau. So this is what you mean. Yep, one person low tech. Yep. So this is, take a, Shandu, this guy, he was great. I'm going to put this up in here, and this is how to do, take the Microsoft string and make it into a word cloud. Okay. Compile the texts with a tag. Oh, okay, this is a bit, you don't need all that. Okay, and then how to do the word cloud. If you could start, come back to me. Okay. These are called tag clouds. I don't know what Wordle is, but this is oh yeah, ignore part 3. You're just going to take all this stuff and you're just going to split the text into words. Let me go find Shandu's original one, because that's a bit, that's more word stuff that you need to do. Okay, while I'm looking, here's a YouTube. Oh, for Pete's sake. Okay. I don't know. Let me look at the. All right, my face is getting red because I'm getting all befuddled and I'm getting all carried away. Really and simply, YouTube. Here's another one. Let me see if this one's better. Oh, no, it's trying to sell you something. The guy Shandu actually did, but his paper was so long ago that I'm worried about it. Let me see if this guy does it. John at Excel Campus might have some interesting to do from Shandu. Okay. Other questions or comments? There it is. This is the guy I've been looking for. All right, this is using VBA, so you might want to have to ask one of your IT guys or one of us to help you with that. And actually, I think that is what I used. He's having a good time. Okay. All right, who wants to conquer that and then come back and make a presentation? How to do this without paying any money? I think Mr. Excel is also a guy who does this. At the Stop Hill world, Greg lets me do this because I'm very much into sentiment analysis. Right. Okay, so Piper is writing about the question about, you know, if a DO like dictates words into something and somebody else has to pick it up and do something with it, how responsive are they? How much time do they have to do it? If they have the right tools in place, right? Right. Oh yeah, and when you say DM, what is it? Development managers? Donor manager, thank you. Okay. Other things you want to talk about today, because we have a little time left. Or do we want to still talk about this? Kelly, it sounds like I need to offer to present this. I don't know if we're going to go to APRA this year, if we can, but maybe we should do that. It's like, how do we do text to word clouds? I'm going to write that one down. Uh-oh. Is anybody going to APRA? Kelly, we're just going back and forth about how we feel about going to Indianapolis. Okay. Yeah, virtual is an option. Yep. That's great. Uh-oh. One of the other things that we started being cautious about in the 90s was board members doing peer screening. When board members do peer screening, are they doing the peer screening in order to help your organization or help the other organizations that they're on the boards of? So, Christine, I hope that other job is worthy of you. Okay, so speaking of spending your budget, we're on our last few days of being able to sign up for our in-person courses. The prospect management, how to set up your prospect management shop for optimal effectiveness. And the other is nonprofit data science for beginners using that program R, that free program. We're hosting it in Springfield, Massachusetts, but I hope that you will either put in chat or send me an email later if you think that it would be a really good idea for us to host it in another part of the US. I don't know if we can go into Canada without getting in trouble with the Canadian government for trying to make money and then take it back to the US. But I would love to do it in Ontario sometime, or Toronto. I haven't been to Toronto in forever. Okay, our next water cooler chat is March comes in like a lion and goes out like an Excel guru lion. I will mention to Greg that we talked about what's the easiest way I can take a collection of words and turn them into a word cloud in Excel. So Sarah's like, thanks, Sarah. Can you get back to me, Sarah, can you get back to me later? I've got other things that happen around that time of year. Do you mind terribly coming back to me later? Because you're right. I think that this kind of thing would be good. Last year when I was at APRA, we did capacity ratings, and that was fairly popular. So I'd hate to disappear again. When I do, I get yelled at by a lot of APRA members. Okay, Brandy just put up the registration link for next month's water cooler chat, and if you want to join us then to talk about, thanks Jody. If you want to talk about Excel tricks and tips, because as Kelly aptly pointed out, I can sit here and show you Tableau and R and Weka and all kinds of fancy stuff that I do, you know, with my fancy data science stuff. But if I'm one person in a shop of 2 people and the other one's processing the GIFs, I have to be able to do this on a tool that I can use. Thanks, Christine. So all y'all, because you're water cooler chat people, you can all get in touch with me and say, you know, can you remind me of what you said? And of course, we offer coaching. We can do online coaching for, it's $300 an hour, but just think of how much more you could get done if we just set all this stuff up together. Kelly, you don't want to do a mind meld with me. I have one of those minds that are better to be a friend of than to have to have to live with. It keeps me up all night. But we should definitely hang out, right? So we can spur each other on. Other questions or comments on any topic? I'm looking over at my screen where I have the chat and all y'all. Okay. Oh, Piper's mentioning is it a gift officer or board member who just had all this relationship information and you did not suck it out of his or her brain before that person left? I've worked with some gift officers. One, he was so old that they could not enforce the no smoking in his office thing. So they just put lots of air conditioning, air filtering units in there. And all of his contact reports said, "See me." It's like nobody could do anything about it. They actually had to make sure they could hire an administrative assistant who could take shorthand for him. And she did. But he was brilliant and he had those relationships and he was a plan giving officer. I mean, I admired his work. And I understand why the organization turned themselves inside and out to accommodate him. I wish that I could have sat with him and said, "Now tell me more about Susie Q." Because he would tell you verbally, but not in writing. And he sure as heck didn't type anything. All right, it sounds like y'all are ready to wrap up. You are welcome to, you've got 13 minutes left in presentation time. We did meetings with our board members to review our portfolios, missed success to get info in there. And soon after we lost our CPO. What's a CPO? Chief Prospect Officer? Major Gift Officer, Annual Giving Officer, and Corporations Officer. Yeah, and then everybody left. Chief Philanthropy Officer, thank you. Yeah. That's the other problem, right? It's like sometimes dealing with gift officers is kind of like, dealing with the runners in a marathon. It's like you can put your water out once, you'll never see them again. Thanks, Bonnie. Okay, it's good to see you guys. It was great to hang out with you.